Welcome back, and in this video we will be introducing the concept of 5D and adding cost inside of Synchro. So there's mainly two types of costs. There's a task-based cost, and then there's costs that are resource-based, which will eventually become task-based because the resources are linked to the tasks, but they're added differently. So to start, I'm going to go to Windows and load the EVA Graph. We won't be using it much now, but I'd like to be able to visualize costs as we're adding them. And then also I'll right-click Customize Columns and just search for cost and add the budgeted direct cost as well as the budgeted total cost. And here we can make those a little bit bigger to be able to see what we're doing. So to start with task-based cost, I can simply select a task and then add a cost, so just $5,000. And here, when we click on the other task, we don't see anything. When we click on the task, we see a straight line going from 0 to 5,000. Now, if I change that duration from 44 to 55, for example, I can't really do that since this is an actualized task. Let's go to an unactualized task, for example, this one. I'll add $2,000. And if I change that from 8 days to 10 days, nothing changes. It just takes it longer to get to the 2,000. However, I'll undo that really quick. And however, if I go to task properties and then cost, I can change that amount from fixed to, for example, hourly or daily. And if it's daily, then it's going to become 16,000 at first. And then if I change that to 10, it increases with the duration. So that's task-based cost. You can add it directly to the task. You can change it from daily, hourly, or fixed. And it shows per task, or if you select the parent, it shows all of those. Now, eventually, these straight lines at the level of the children will sum up to be like an S-curve at the level of the parent or the entire project. Let's look at resource-based cost before we do that. So I'm going to go to Resources. And I'm not going to use any of the existing resources for now. We might do that later. I'll just go and create a new one. I'll create a human resource, for example, called laborer. And here we're going to assign a resource-based cost. So I'll go to the resource properties instead of task properties and then go to cost. Now, if you try to right-click add, you won't be able to do that because you have to first select the effective date. Because costs of resources may change over time, you can add more effective dates and change them and have the cost change over the course of the project. Now I'll leave that as is, I'll select that and then maybe add a daily cost, or you can do per unit for resources as well, and do $1,000 for example, or $500 as a daily cost. And you can name the cost, for example, this is expenses, or if you want to break it down. Now, after doing that, this cost will not make it anywhere in the project unless the resource is assigned to anything. So if I go ahead and drag and drop resources to piles 3, then we'll notice now piles 3's direct cost is still 0, but the budgeted total cost is 2,000. If I do that for piles 2, then 16 versus 20, because this is double the duration, so the 2,000 here is a 4,000 here, plus 16 equal 20. Now I can assign this to all of the tasks, for example, so we can see what happens. So if I select all my tasks and then assign the laborer, then we'll see that there's a straight line for each task. And then if we select the main activity, these straight lines add up to be what looks like it could be an S-curve. However, it's not in this case because the costs are the same. And that's a very basic introduction to 5D. Of course, you can capture a baseline, you can change the tasks, see how the cash flow changes. Now, we haven't really talked about, once I assigned this, we assumed 1 unit per day per task. We haven't really talked about how to change these and how to efficiently use model properties to do that. We'll do that in the next video, which will focus more on resource loading. But for now, we just need to know that there's time-based and fixed cost, as well as task-based and resource-based costs.